Hey and welcome back to the channel, my name's Matt, and we continue our playthrough of Space Quest 3. Where we left off last time, we were at the World of Wonders on Fleabut. So let's check out what we've got going here. Look, what's this case? You peer through the glass of the display case and find a cute and cuddly little creature. A small sign on the glass informs you this is an Antarian slime devil. How cute! It's kind of cool. So just before we go in here, we know we're carrying a glowing gem and some money. Now the glowing gem is actually, if you look gem, it's from Space Quest 2. It's a hunk of Orium we sort of found in a cave and we used it to basically, it's like a little bit of light, so it glowed in the dark. It was kind of cool. However, it's now long since lost its glow, so it's just kind of like a crystal. So when we go in here, if you look carefully in the rooms, do you kind of see something similar maybe in the display case? So again, that's Sierra giving you a bit of a clue as to what you might need to do. But howdy stranger, the name's Blatz, First of Blatz. Welcome to the World of Wonders. Go ahead, have a look. So I always thought this guy had like a full-on Texas attitude and like Texas mannerisms and always wants to trade, that sort of thing. But I've got no idea what his voice would really sound like. But how about this nice iron on a stick? Kids will just love this. We're talking hours of fun for the whole family. Just look how cute this little guy is. So, you know, this is basically a tourist trap. Like, he just sells like souvenirs and just crap in general. But if you watch it play through, there's one useful thing here. So, now here's a red hot item, the official Astro Chicken flight hat. You'll really turn some heads in this sporty little number. It's modeled after the hot new arcade game that's sweeping the galaxy. So, again, it's just like crap. Like, you know, it's PR stuff that they're obviously trying to flog here. And there should be one more thing that he's trying to sell. Going any high temp planets, this nice pair of ThermoWeave underwear will keep your internal environment pleasant on even the sweatiest worlds. I love how it's got like the radioactive symbol right on the crotch. So remember that planet Ortega? It looked like volcanic craters and stuff. Again, that's a cool clue saying it's going to be pretty warm. So maybe you need those underwear. So buy underwear. Everything here costs 25 buckazoids. You don't have that much. We just got those few coins we found in the ship. But again, in the display case, we see something familiar. So sell gem. Again, this dude is a full-on trader, so you might want to buy it. My, that is certainly one fine hunk of Orium. Alright, so he is interested, you can tell. So, when you have these haggle interfaces, I'll take it off your hands for $350. Yeah, no. I'll take it off your hands for $400. Yeah, no. I'll take it off your hands for $425. I'd say that's a pretty good deal, so we're going to go with $425. I think you can finish the game with like the lowest amount, but it probably gives you a lower score or something. So now let's just buy all this crap. We got tons of money. Buy Orrit stick. A wise choice. I'm sure you'll be very, very pleased. Buy hat. Awesome. And buy underwear. Awesome. So now if we have a look at our inventory, we have an iron on a stick, we have ThermoWeave underwear, we have a flight hat, and we have buckazoids. We are ready for a good night on the town. So we're going to save it here, because this is where things get a little interesting. So we are bought a lot of stuff. Alright. So here's another thing about this game. Like, you can leave the store with all this stuff, and in a minute you'll see you can use the Orrit on a stick, or you can not use the Orrit on a stick. But the one thing people... I've watched a couple of playthroughs, and I didn't realise this until kind of a little bit later on, is you buy the hat, and you try and wear the hat, and it won't let you wear it. It's just like, oh, it seemed like a good idea at the time, you know, don't want to do that anymore type thing. But if you're in the store, you can actually wear the hat. As soon as you go outside, it won't let you do it. But in here, you don the Johnny hat. You feel more sporty already. The next part is absolutely classic when you leave. So as you walk out, thanks for stopping by. Hey, it looks like the lightning's getting close. Better be careful out there. As you walk out, you are literally wearing this hat. And then this dude picks you up and you just watch it go flying off into the breeze. I always love that. So, this is Roger Wilco, the man I've been sent across the universe to track down and terminate. I am not impressed. You are too easy to find. You tend to leave a mess wherever you go. I can't do a Schwarzenegger impersonation, so that's as good as it gets. Seems you forgot to pay for that Labion Terror Beast mating call whistle. Now let's see. With interest, that comes to 400,000 buckazoids. I don't think you've got that kind of cash on you. No, I didn't think so. The good people at Gippazoid Novelty Company are most displeased. Non-payment is a serious offence. The thing that also made this like hilarious for me is like imagine this dude picking you up wearing that crappy hat and it just go flying off. But lucky for you, I'm in a good mood today. I'll count to 10 real slow, then I track you down. If I make it to your ship, I forget I see you. But if I catch you again, I dust you like bundt cake. There is no way to make it to the ship. I have tried this so many times. Like, you'll get to the ship and you'll be able to walk on and like he'll just kill you. I'm going to save it right here, right now, because there is 2 ways to actually deal with this dude, both of which are kind of fun. So, Terminator is after me. The first one, which is the one I did for years, is if you run to the left, there's like this little like hole in the side of the thing. So if I go, well, this might be a bad idea, but read sign. See Fleabut for a Mog's Head, entrance free. Sorry, temporarily closed for repair. So it's like an elevator up to the top to like, for like a sightseeing thing. I've got to do this pretty quick because he'll come and like literally mangle me if I don't. So we can ride this little elevator to the top of Mog, which is this space creature, I dare say. And up here is like this full-on like, I don't know. You know, it's not really a sightseeing thing. It's like a maintenance room. So you got this thing with some cogs up here. Now, this is so like Terminator 1, where it's like into the factory where he gets pressed into that press machine. So if you kind of climb the stairs here, we cruise around, see the elevators going back down, you know that's a bad thing because this dude is coming for you. Again, I'm just going to save it here because it's kind of fun to actually let him catch you and see what it does. In plant room. So here he comes, and man, does he look like he means business. Seriously, like, those glasses, man, like, they are the coolest thing ever. I want a pair. Okay, he's coming for me. So let's fight. Pardon me, this is too stupid. Yeah, you can't fight, you're pretty wimpy. Okay, so he's none pleased. And he twists you up like a pretzel. That's pretty funny. Like your eyes going round and round. Thanks for playing Space Quest 3. You've been a real hoot. Okay. So how to actually deal with this dude. See there's a couple of pulleys here. I see you, Wilco. You can push one of these. I think it's just push rope. It's been a while since I've done this, but we're about to find out. You gotta wait till he's just in line with the cog. Push rope. Oh no. Push rope. Oh yeah. Reaching up, you give the rope and pulley a mighty shove. Oh! I love how like it slows down. It's like, you can also, if you're not careful, step into that and get completely mangled by it, which is kind of funny. But it's basically the same thing. It just happened to the Terminator here. So if you now like look Terminator, the Terminator is now a pile of junk on the first level platform. Looking closely, you notice the Terminator's invisibility belt has survived relatively intact. I wonder what we'll do with that. Take belt. So yeah, basically, if you can take it, you take it. And here comes my friend Fester Blatz. And he's like, hey, what's going on here? Didn't you read the sign saying we're closed for repairs? Oh, I see you got rid of that grease-swilling android. Never did like that Terminator series. Good riddance to bad circuits. Well, you might as well ride down with me. So there, we've done away with the Terminator. We've got our invisibility belt. Happy days. And as I said, when I was a kid, this is how I did it, like, forever. Didn't know there was another way to solve this, but turns out there actually is. So I'm just going to save it just in case we decide to come back. So Terminator is gone. Alright, so if I now restore this back to where the Terminator is after me, I can also run away down. Now this way gives you the most points, but it is somewhat tricky to execute. And again, this one, you could kind of figure out if you did a bit more exploring before we went to the World of Wonders there. There's these little like... Oh no, not a Scorpizoid. No. I wonder if I can actually walk up here, because that's what I was trying to do before when I was walking down, but... I assume I can walk up here? Yeah, there we go. You can sort of figure this puzzle out by, like, as I said, in a second you'll see. There's these little, like, pulsing things. And basically, I'm just going to save it here, because, again, this is kind of tricky to get right. At pulsing things. So if you kind of sort of get here and, you know, oh, here comes the Terminator. But if you walk under one, the dude like eats you. And like, yeah, not a lot of warning there. And see the like on the left, there's some footprints. That's the Terminator coming after me. So the little pulsing things kind of do its job. But thanks for playing Space Quest 3. As usual, you've been a real hoot, and you're now Pod Chow. What you can do, and again, this is tricky as to execute. If you stand on this side of the cave, you can get the Terminator to walk underneath, and they eat him. How sweet is that? Now, I would have thought someone as buff as that dude could like bust his way out of one of those pods, but hey, obviously not. And if I stick to the edge, I can kind of avoid them. But now, if you go, whoa, look, Terminator. Terminator's a pile of junk. So just like before, the belt has survived. So get belt. The problem is it says get closer. As soon as you get close, the pod thing will like come down. It just eats you. So like you're screwed. So if you come in from the side though, get belt with Orit stick. So the Orit on a stick's like a reachy thing with like a grabby mouth, as you saw in the World of Wonders. So you can kind of like reach down and grab the belt, which is pretty cool. As I said, like I didn't get this puzzle till like years after I played this the first time. And I think one of my friends told me about it, and I was like, oh, cool, we can do that. The Orit on a stick's also a bit of a play on Space Quest 1. There's a creature called Orit, which lives on a planet called Corona, but when we get to the Space Quest 1 playthrough, you'll get to meet that dude. So we're going to save this again. Let's save it again as Terminator is gone, because we got more points for doing it this way. Alright, so we've pretty much exhausted everything there is to do on Fleabut. As I said, there is no way to make it to the ship without him catching you. And even if you did find a way, which again I'm sure is impossible, you need that belt later on. Otherwise, you are out of luck. Alright, back on the ship. Sit. Screen. Engines. Thrust generation underway. We now have adequate thrust. So we're going to take off. And again, now what do we do? Well, let's check out the old nav screen. Number 2. Do a bit more of a scannage. So we know we've got the thermal underwear, so we could go to Ortega. But just for fun, because Monolith Burger's here, let's set a course to it. So we're going to calculate the course. We're going to lock in the course. And we are going to do this one at light speed, because we don't have 2 or 3 hours to waste. I always love this sequence. Just warps off into the distance. Okay. Flashing message on your monitor attracts your attention. Throttling back, approaching the Monolith Burger. And here we have the Starship Enterprise, the OG, the A model. And it's going to warp away. Now that I think about it, I think Next Generation, so the NCC, what is it, 1701D, had been like televised back then, but everyone kind of remembers the Captain Kirk one. I always thought this place was cool. So like here we are, we've docked. This little like convolute things come down and like met with the hatch. And here we are at Monolith Burger. Look around. The decor, like the food, is the same in all Monolith Burgers across the universe. Generic counter clerks eagerly await to help you. Diverse lifeforms are crowded around the counter and sitting in booths consuming what can only loosely be termed food. I love the sarcasm in this. When I was a kid, I didn't quite get half of it, but my parents did, and they always thought it was hilarious, and now that I'm older. Look, creature. Your eyes take in the diversity of alien forms without much interest. After all, you're a spacefaring kind of guy. It's like a full-on NASA astronaut here, and like, is that thing supposed to be like Jabba the Hutt from Star Wars? Like the slug-looking dude? And there's a dude that looks like, I don't know, like a jellyfish. That's pretty cool. And like, I always thought like, on this far bench here, there's an alien with some eyes. I always thought it was like a plant pot with a plant growing in it, but I'm pretty sure it's a dude. So, we got a few things we can do here. Let's go up to the counter and see what's on offer. Welcome to Monolith Burger. Oh, I don't think this dude's from Texas. Oh, I got no idea what he sounds like. May I take your order? Okay. So, look, menu. So, we have a few things we can buy here. You got the mini monolith, you got the monolith, you've got it with the poly cheese, you've got the fillet of Orit, you've got the jumbo monolith with the poly cheese, you've got the big belcher combo, which is the jumbo mono with poly cheese, space buds with extra grease and sloppy slurper. You've got the fun meal, and you've got the space buds, and you've got small, medium, large, and sloppy slurper tang. Oh man, there is so much choice here. Like, you've got enough money, you can literally buy everything here. For the fun of it, a few of these do different things. Like, some of them do nothing. Like, you buy it, you kind of eat it, and like, yeah, sure, whatever. But the Big Belcher Combo and the Fun Meal are the two ones that do something. So let's buy a Big Belcher Combo. Let's buy the Fun Meal. And then let's quit. And like, this dude is super pushy. He's like, would you like a drink with that? Yes or yes. Would you like space buds with that? Yes or yes. Would you like the black fruit pie with that? Yes, we would. Special today, a free drink with every purchase. Okay. Your total is 16 buckazoids. Pay. Now, there may be like a score penalty for ordering the Big Belcher because we strictly don't need it, but I always find that one kind of funny. Have a nice day. You gingerly pick up the greasy bag. You can hardly wait to have a seat and dig in. So let's do it. Oh, sit down automatically. That's kind of cool. Eat food. I love how his neck like extends when he drinks. It's like up and down. And eating. And eating. And drinking. And that's a chewy piece. Oh, hey, what's this in my burger? Oh, it must be my fun meal prize. Hey, it's a swell decoder ring. That's kind of like dangerous if you gave that to a kid. Just like put the ring inside the burger, but hey, whatever. That was mighty tasty. Well, maybe mildly tasty. Well, maybe not tasty at all. In fact, it reminded you of the slick skin of a Valerian muskworm. So yeah, this food is not great. Okay, actually I won't save it just yet. Let's get up. You can take rubbish, but I think it says let the take garbage? Garbage. Nah, let Mr. Employee of the Week clean it up. Yeah, quality attitude there, Roger. Okay. So we're going to save it here because there's a couple of options as to how we play this out. And again, a lot of people that play this later, so let's call this at Monolith had food. A lot of people that play this later with a walkthrough or whatever will do this like the strictly correct way, which not a lot of people did back in the day because there were no walkthroughs on the internet. You had to call the Sierra helpline, which cost some huge amount of money, or you had to buy the hint book. And even then, most people didn't. They just blundered their way through this for months or weeks or whatever it took until they got it. But Space Quest 3 is really unforgiving in one point that it'll let you finish the game, but it won't give you context if you miss one critical step. So, just for fun, before we get there, let's just go into this dude's ship. Out of my airlock, geek! Yeah, that dude doesn't want to be messed with. I think if you do it twice more, he like actually kills you, but now that we've done that little fun segue, there's a little arcade machine here, so let's look at the machine. This is Astro Chicken. Now, Playing this as a kid, I found this so difficult, but it is super easy. And even when people like on playthroughs these days, are like, oh man, this is the hardest thing ever. It really isn't. It's a toggle on the up arrow to basically stop him from flying up or down, and it toggles on the left and right to stop you from flying left and right. You've just got to remember to double tap it and just slow this chicken thing, which you'll see in a second, down, and just land him on the pad. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert coin. And then I'm just going to tap the up key, tap the left key, he'll fly up. Tap the up key, slows him down, and he lands. Easy. Tap the up key. Whoop, bit fast. Just fly back up again. Tap the up key, and he lands. Piece of cake. If he's off to the right or the left, I usually fly him up and down. Whoop, did a bouncer, but hey, that was pretty sweet. That was like a trick landing. Alright. No! Let's try that again. So, if you like crash him, he like dies if he lands on the minefield. And the trick to this part of the game is you need to play it basically until something happens. Oops. Oh, come on, land. Oh, this is going to go poorly. There we go. Again, this is one of those things that Sierra is famous for. Like, you have to do something like this repetitively until something happens. And if you play it just for a few minutes and you crash heaps, you won't actually get to this point because you need to accumulate so many extra lives. So at the bottom you can see I've got 4 chickens worth of extra lives. Now I've got 5. And obviously if you're crashing, you lose them. So some people just thought, oh yeah, it's a cool like in-game thing. But as it turns out, when you get the 6th extra life, this weird thing comes up on the screen. Now it's like, what is that? That's some like language that I've never seen before. But what did we get in our burger? Well, we got a sweet decoder ring. How about let's decode this message? Decode message. And up comes the secret code, goes something like this. Now, like, I remember doing this the first time, and I literally got a piece of paper and I wrote it down. But if you stare quite, like, hard at the screen, you can sort of see what it says anyway. But I'll give you the gist of it. It says, help us. We are something trapped on the small moon of Pestilon. Basically what it's saying is there's a small moon named Pestilon, which is kind of off to the side of Ortega. Now, we didn't find it in our scans, and we worked that out a little bit later on as to why. But these two dudes are being trapped by a company called Scumsoft. Now, Scumsoft is a software developer, and it's kind of hilarious. They basically employ people, and then they work them like slaves to produce software. So these two guys are like imprisoned basically at this software place. And like they've sort of half written this secret message into like this game so that someone's going to come and rescue them. So the idea is you've read this message, you're like, hey, these two dudes are in trouble. So at the bottom it actually says 2 guys in trouble. The idea is now, oh yeah, let's go rescue them. Gives the game some purpose. But the classic is if you don't play Astro Chicken through like this and you don't actually see the message, you can still go to Ortega, you can still rescue the 2 guys, but you have no clue what you're doing. And it just gives you the most hilarious things every now and then. But now that we've unlocked the message, it assumes that you've read it and you've decoded it with that ring. If you don't unlock the message, then the game will give you some weird sort of textual prompts, which we'll see in a minute. So for now, we're going to save that as save game at Monolith and decoded. That way we can play both ways out because it is fun. At Monolith have decoded. Whereas the other one at Monolith had food. We haven't decoded the message. We didn't play Astro Chicken. So now comes the funny bit about the Big Belcher combo. So you can probably guess what's going to happen when we just like we fly off and we've just eaten something that's like super greasy. Get into ship. Oh no, he's not feeling good. So yeah, I'm guessing your digestive system can't handle that, but man, that Big Belcher combo was a little too much for the delicate digestive tract. You feel better now, except for being hungry again. Of course, the thought of eating here doesn't appeal to you right at the moment. It's like, yeah, just double down and get another burger. Alright, so now that's taken care of, get into ship. If you don't buy the Big Belcher, it doesn't happen. And I don't think it gets you any points, but yeah, whatever. You slide back into the ship, closing the hatch behind you. The docking control beams begin guiding you safely clear of the Monolith Burger. So now we've decoded the message, so this is the way the game's intended to be played, I guess. So the way this will play out now is it's quite logical. It's like, oh hey, I found this, that must be that. But what I'll do in this playthrough is I'm just going to sub in what happens as it happens if you don't decode the message. So let's go off to the old Ortega. It's volcanic, we've got the underwear. It's radioactive, but yeah, we don't worry about that. So let's get some light speed action. Gotta love the light speed, you're there in just a moment. It's kind of cool, the game actually times itself a little bit as well, depending how far you are away on that navigational grid. So like, Monolith Burger and Fleabut was super close, and it only took like 3 seconds before we were there. But Ortega is now like quite a distance away, so it actually goes a bit longer. And I know it sounds really dull, but like back then that was a big deal programming this sort of stuff. So now orbiting the planet Ortega. Let's land this bad boy. Always loved the look of this planet, it looks so formidable. With a mighty whump, you set the aluminium mallet down on the surface Ortega. Okay. Get up. If you forget to wear the underwear, it does warn you. It's like, man, it's hot out here. You're not going to last more than a few minutes. You can sort of get back in the ship and, like, wear the underwear again. After figuring out which side is the front, you put on the ThermoWeave underwear. They power up automatically, keeping you comfy at all temperatures. Never mind the radiation. Okay. So let's, no, we don't need to save it here. Press button. It's relatively safe. My, this is one hot planet. But you don't care. You're beating the heat with a ThermoWeave underwear. Care underwear, kind of rhymes. Alright, so this is pretty self-explanatory. There's lava everywhere. If you step off the edge, you're going to plummet into the lava, which is bad. So we're going to walk across this rickety bridge. You can watch his eyeballs nearly fall out of his head. Like, ah, okay. It appears that parts of this planet's surface are not entirely stable. Better be careful or you'll end up in the lava fondue below. Another thing that's kind of funny is if you look around. The planet Ortega is truly a lava lover's paradise. Volcanic activity constantly reshapes its surface, so if you have any maps older than last week, throw them out. Alright, so if we head down here. Alright, let's just hide behind the rock. So you can see there's these two dudes. They look pretty serious. So if we do a look around. That's pretty much that. Look, men. Obviously loyal company men, the Scumsoft employees are happily performing their duties. But looking at their weapons, you probably don't want to get too close. Okay, so this is the response you get if you've decoded the message. Because it talks about Scumsoft and the planet, the planet, what's it called? I can't even remember now. Pestilon. The moon around here. And it talks about Scumsoft. So, like, what's happened now is Roger's kind of understands. He's like, oh man, these are the Scumsoft dudes that are helping to, like, hide the planet. So, that makes sense. Alright, so we're going to save it here. So, we're going to save this as at Scumsoft dudes on Ortega. Now, if you do, like, not heed the warning of don't get too close, and you're like, hey guys, oh, yeah. Way to go, Ace. You blundered your way within range of the pirate's jello gun. You suffocate an impenetrable block of jello. So, like, I don't know where the jello guns come from, to be honest, but I think it's kind of funny. But I just love you blundered your way. I'm just picturing, like, a complete idiot just sort of, like, walking up to them like, hey, how's it going, guys? And then just literally getting shot. So, yeah, we don't want to do that. Basically, if you hang out here for a while, they'll kind of wander away. So, we're just going to hang here for a bit. And you can see some dudes looking through a telescope. There's another guy there who's got like a, I don't know if it's a clipboard or something. He's like making some measurements. And there's a sweet anemometer like blowing around there. It's another nice thing. Oh, here we go. You hear the roar of the pirate scout ship taking off. The ship screaks across the sky to an unknown destination. Sweet. Anemometer, there's another word that it taught me how to spell when I was a very young kid. So let's look equipment. There's a telescope, an anemometer on a pole, some seismic equipment, and a crate of some sort. Yeah, the crate's got some cool stuff in it. Look, telescope. Looks like it's used for saying, okay, look through telescope. So this is cool. So you can see there's like this beam coming out of this thing. Aha, you've discovered the force beam generator, and that moon must be Pestilon. Sweet. So we can see that's doing its thing. So if we kind of wander off now, we know we've got to disable it somehow, because that way we can travel to Pestilon. But first, let's check out this crate. Look, crate. It's full of thermal detonators. Take detonator. You pick up one of the detonators. Be careful, you could blow your fingers off with that thing. Yeah, these things are classic. This is, when we get to Space Quest 4, there's a detonator in that as well. But you have to be careful when you get things like this, because if you do certain things, it's going to blow up on you. Imagine just carrying around a stick of dynamite like in your backpack. It's not a good idea. Alright, so just looking at the time now, it's been another 30 or 40 minutes. I think we're just going to call this and we'll break this off as another part. Thanks again for watching. We're going to now tackle in the next part the whole force field generator and all that sort of thing, as well as look at what happens if we don't decode that message, which is pretty funny. So thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.